In this video, I'm going to work through the Organising Space worksheet with you. As in previous videos, if two columns contain similar types of formula or functions, then I'm expecting you to pause the video and complete those columns before you move on. So the first thing that I need to point out is that the instructions for this particular sheet, on the heading row across the top here where we've got dinosaur length, height, weight, dinosaur size and space required, there are comments. So if I click inside the cell, you can see that the comments tell you what to do. So in this instance, it says make these cells relative to the ones on the page, choosing your dinosaurs. Now I'm going to explain what that means in a second. Okay, same on the length, height, weight. Okay, be careful because the dinosaur size is different and the space required columns require different things. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is to transfer the dinosaurs that you've chosen onto this sheet. Now we're not going to copy and paste them. I will show you why before we start this. We're going to use a formula to transfer them across, and that's called three-dimensional cell referencing, because you're using values from more than one sheet. So why can't I just copy them across then? Well, let's go and have a look. So if I go onto my page here, okay, and these are the dinosaurs that I've chosen, and I copy my first dinosaur and I come back over here to Organising Space and I paste it in. Okay, I've not only have I copied across the drop down list, which is what I don't want, I've also got a problem whereby if I go onto my choosing the dinosaurs page and I drop my list down and select a different dinosaur, okay, it doesn't change it there. So there's a problem. Okay, so I'm going to just undo that. So I'm going to show you how we combat that by using three-dimensional cell referencing, and it's very, very straightforward. So for three-dimensional cell referencing, I'm just going to type in equals, because all formulas and functions start with equals. I'm going to go onto my choosing the dinosaurs page and I'm going to select my first dinosaur and press enter. You can see in the top it says equals choosing your dinosaurs and then exclamation mark B5. So it's bringing in the value from cell B5. Okay, so you can see there now that that's been brought in. So does that work? So does that work if I change this value? So let's change this value to a diplodocus. Okay, if I go back onto my Organising Space, you can see it automatically changes it here too. So that's what we want. Let's change it back. Okay. And now it's a simple case of copying these formulas down. So remember, we're looking at the little green square on the bottom. So I'm just going to click, drag and copy that function down. Now, as in the choosing the dinosaurs page where we used lookup functions, okay, we're also going to use lookup functions to bring the length, height and weight into the spreadsheet. So if we go back onto choosing your dino data page, we're looking for length. Okay, so there's the length. It's exactly the same functions that you used when you used lookups on the choosing your dinosaurs page. So I'll show you the first entry here, and then I'm expecting you to pause the video and then complete the others yourself. So equals lookup. Open a bracket. First thing it's asking me for is the lookup value, so that's in the same row as I'm typing the formula, so that's this, comma. The lookup vector is the names of the dinosaurs here, and then the second part of the formula is asking for the results, and that's whichever column you're bringing back the values for. So let's go back to here. Equals lookup. Open a bracket. Okay. There, comma. And now I'm going to go on to my dino data page, and I'm going to highlight my dinosaur names. I'm going to press F4 to make sure that I change this to absolute referencing, comma, and we're bringing in, I think it's the length, So let's highlight that column as well. Same thing again, F4 to make it absolute reference. Close the bracket, press enter. Okay, and you can see that it's brought the length into my spreadsheet. I can then copy that column down. So what I'm expecting you to do now is exactly the same things for the height and the weight. I'll pause the video while you do this, and once you've completed it, unpause it and just resume watching the video. Okay, so by now you should have entered lookup functions to bring in the values for the length, height and weight of each of your dinosaurs. So let's look at the next column. So the next column is saying that it's asked you to work out the dinosaur size in meters squared. Okay, so it's telling you have to multiply the dinosaur length by their height. So equals, because we're doing a calculation, length times height. So C6 times D6. Remember, wherever possible, use the mouse to select the cells that you want to work with. It's far more accurate. Press enter with that. Okay, that value can be copied down, so I'm not going to do that for you. You can do that yourself. The next column is asking for the space required, and it's asking you to multiply the dinosaur length by the dinosaur size. So this again equals dinosaur length multiplied by the dinosaur size. Okay, and press enter. I'm going to pause the video, and I will expect you to do those calculations and copy the formulas down, and then we will resume. Okay, that should be done now. So the next small section is the summary part at the bottom here. So the first thing it's asking us to do is to calculate the total space required. So you can see that each dinosaur has a space allocation. So it's a simple case of adding those values together. Now, there are two ways to do addition with a spreadsheet. A long way and a quicker, more appropriate way. So I'm going to show you how to do this properly. We're going to use a function called equals sum. So to sum to me means to add. You only use equals sum when you are adding values together. You never put any other formula inside an equals sum unless it's a very complex function. So it's a very straightforward process. We're going to type in equals sum, and we're going to open a bracket. Okay, and all we need to do is to highlight the values that we need to add together. So I'm going to start here, click, drag. Okay, I've highlighted the values I'm going to add. You can see I've got my dancing ants going around my space required cells. I'm going to close the bracket and I'm going to press enter. So that tells me that I need 2870.05 meters squared of space. Now this looks complicated, but it's not. Let's have a look at this together. So on the select location, it says from the drop down list, select a location. Different locations have different costs. Some are more expensive than others. So what it's asking you to do is to select the location here. There's a drop down list and we've got a number of different locations that you can choose from. So let's say, for example, I wanted to choose Hawaii. So there's Hawaii. You can see that for every per meter squared piece of land, it's going to cost me £4,200. If I select a different destination, say Cuba, you can see it's 1,200. Okay, so I'm going to stick with my original choice of Hawaii. Okay. We have to calculate something here. It says calculate the cost of the land required for your park here. You will need to multiply the land required by the cost of the land in your chosen location. So this is the land required, and this is the cost of land in my chosen destination. So it's a simple process of equals this value multiplied by this value. Okay, and I press enter. So for me to house my dinosaurs in Hawaii is going to cost me £12,054,189. So we can do with this, we can do what if investigations. So I can turn around and say, well, what if I decided I wanted to house my my dinosaurs not in Hawaii, but in the Shetland Islands, closer to where we live. So let's have a look what happens there. What's going to be the impact on the cost? So I've selected the Shetland Islands, and you can see that my cost has come down to 4 million rather than 12 million. So I can use the formulas will automatically recalculate for me, and I can do what if investigations. So that ends the section on organising space.